All right. Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And today rather, it was a very, very explosive day in court for Karmelo Anthony. We were able to hear the opening statements. We got to see the surveillance of the incident that happened. We also heard a very, very dramatic 911 call that had Austin Metcalf's family just bawling. It was so many different moments that happened today. I had to literally decompress after court. So I apologize that it is so late after court that I'm finally sitting down and doing my breakdown, but it was just so much to process today. Mentally, I was just like, you know what? I need to take a few hours for myself and just truly decompress and process everything that I've heard, everything that I've seen, all of the different energies, all of those things. I just took a drive and I just was driving around and around and around and around and around. So it was a lot, but let's get into it. Let's get going. I have a lot of notes. Today was the official kickoff of the trial. Now, trial started on June 1st, which was Monday. Today is Thursday, June 4th. And today we actually got to hear the opening statement. And we got to hear from several different witnesses. We got to hear from a video analyst. We got to hear from several of the different coaches that were at the track meet. We also, as I stated, heard the dramatic 911 call where you can hear the life-saving measures that the people at the track meet were trying to do for Austin Metcalf. It was a lot going on. But first and foremost, we're going to start and bring it from the top. Now, as you guys know, or some of you guys may not know, in this trial, there is a very strict gag order, okay? There was a very strict gag order put in place, and the judge had put in this order and stated that anybody who comes to the courthouse, there will be a curfew. The curfew is to be at 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. If you violate that 6 a.m. curfew, you will be banned and not allowed to attend the trial. So every single morning, I have been vigilant of following this curfew. Today was no different. So I'm expecting, because every time that I hear that, like other people who arrive earlier than 6, I've been hearing that the sheriff's office has been turning them away and telling them they have to leave the parking lot until 6 a.m. And prior to today, people have not been able to enter into the parking lot before 6. So everybody has been trying to follow the rules and stuff like that. This morning, I get off the freeway. It is 5:50, around a little barely past 5:50. And my uncle's following me, and I'm like, hey, let's drive a couple of laps up and down the street so that we don't violate the court order, right? So we drive up the street, down the street, up the street, and then come back down. And by that time, it's time for us to enter into the parking lot. I'm like, it's 5:58. So hopefully they don't ban me for 2 minutes. I drive in the parking lot at 5:58. And when I drive in the parking lot, I park my car, I look at the line, and there's literally 25 people in the front of the steps of the courthouse already lined up, not just now getting out of their car, already out of their car and in line. So when I walk up and I'm walking up and I see all of these people in the line, I'm like, wait, how are all of y'all already in line when it just it's not even 6 o'clock yet? It's barely 5:58. What's happening? I start to panic because none of if you follow the orders, how is this line here? They weren't walking to the line, they weren't walking to the court steps, they were already in line. So I see that there is about 15 white women, and it was like 15 white women, 2 teenagers that they had with them. And right in front of them was some of the bloggers that I, am familiar with. I see Gerald from the North Carolina Beat, and I walk up to Gerald, not to cut anybody, but just to ask, like, wait a minute, like, how are all of y'all already in line? Like, what's going on? Immediately when I go to ask him a question, there was a white woman like right behind him. She's like, security, security. I said, chill, baby. Like, relax. I'm not cutting. I'm just trying to understand how all of you guys are lined up and it's 5:58. And the courthouse is not supposed to be open until 6 a.m. Like, how is it 20 of y'all like not walking to the line, but already in line? I said, you got it. Chill, baby. I'm getting in line. Don't worry. Like, I don't need to cut you. I'm just curious. So I get in line, and there was a black girl. There was one black girl in front of me, and then there was 15 white women, and it was like 10 or 15 white women. They had 2 teenage boys with them, and then before them were some other like bloggers. There was like a legal expert it was like a white guy that was like a legal expert, etc. So I'm in line, my uncle gets behind me, and then behind him there's another person. Then I realized that there's this woman that has been rage baiting online. She gets behind them. So I noticed her because I've been making sure that I stay clear of her, because there has been some allegations that she's making about people that I've been at the courthouse that I don't feel happened. I didn't see it happen. I don't see when it could have happened. I don't believe that it happened. Not to say that it didn't happen at all. I don't believe it happened. It could have happened. I just don't see how, when every time I look that way, nobody was over there bothering that girl or by that girl or saying anything to her. So it's like, when did this happen? I don't know. So I've been very intentional about, like, if she's in the bathroom or if she's like in a place where, an allegation can be made, I prefer to just remove myself and not be somewhere where a lie can be made up. Anything that is said is going to be said where there can be witnesses. So, if she goes to the bathroom, I'm not going to go to the bathroom. I'm not going in the bathroom with you so that a whole story can be fabricated. And then it could be, Karmelo Anthony supporter ambush me in the bathroom. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be nowhere where it's just me and her. Never. I'm also not saying anything to her. So I've been very intentional about that, but I am aware when she comes around, because I try to make sure that I'm clear of her, being that I've seen the narratives that she's pushed out, that I don't feel like I can't verify. I'm not everywhere she is, but I don't believe them. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that it didn't happen because I don't know. I'm not around her like that, but I don't believe it. You know what I mean? So anyways, so I see that she's like 3 or 4 people behind me. There's a black girl in front of me, and there's 15 white women in front of her. So I'm like thinking in my head, I'm panicking because I'm like, oh my God, like I'm like starting to panic because I'm thinking like maybe I'm not going to get in the courtroom. I'm like, oh my God, like it's all of these people. You got this big, large group of people. They're like, we're all together, and I'm like, chill out, baby. Y'all can be together. That's fine. And then, and then there's other bloggers, independent media, etc. They're all in front. So I'm in my head like, oh my God, I might not be in. Whoop. So as it gets closer to 7, the line gets wrapped around like tons of people. Miss Jessica Parker and all of the other people were, way behind. But she knows, and everybody in that line, the 15 white women, the other people, they all know that I arrived way before her. That's not even refute. That's like what is it, an irrefutable fact? Like, you can't refute that. Like, it's too many witnesses, and if anybody says otherwise, they're a liar. You know what I mean? Which I don't put it past them, because lies have been said. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, so as it gets closer to 7, there's one Black girl in front of me, and she was a hired line sitter for another blogger. So a blogger had paid her to hold her place in line. So as it gets closer to 7, the other blogger comes up. She thanks her line sitter. Her line sitter steps out of the line, where all of the people in the front of us to the back of us, they see one girl gets out of line and leaves, the other girl takes her place in line. They see that, but they use that to lie. So again, we're waiting. We don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to make it in the courtroom. At that point, I don't know how many people they're going to let in or how that's going to play out. So we go through so they open the doors at 7, and as they open the doors, my uncle's like I said, my uncle's right behind me, and like they open the door, and I'm just like, oh my God, I pray I get in, I hope I get in, I hope I get in, I hope I get in. Like, oh my God, I hope, like, I'm just like stressing, freaking out, like, oh my God, I hope I get in, I hope I get in. So I walk in the door, because there's like a sheriff, like there was like 2 sheriffs that were like there were sheriffs on the outside, and then there were sheriffs on the inside of the courtroom. So, and it's all this, police force or whatever. So I just got my bag, and I'm like, oh my God, it's one of those, like, I'm walking, and then I make it in the courtroom, and I'm like, and I look back, and they stop my uncle, and they close the door. And Miss Jessica Parker and all of these other people, they had to wait outside. So we go inside, and they say, hey, you guys are the 27 public. And I was like, oh my God, I made it in. Wow. So I was like, whew, I made it in, but I felt sad because my uncle had to just wait outside for me, like that. I get in, I get a badge, I go into the courtroom. I'm in there, and after lunch, somebody comes up to me, and they're like, hey, Miss Parker is telling the sheriff that you cut in front of her. You and another Black woman cut in front of her in the line. Mind you, before there was even a line, before the line sitter swapped out, Miss Ma'am saw me, and she saw that I was there way before her. Like, when she walked up the steps and walked in, I was in line, planted. So they come to me, and they're like, hey, I don't know if you know, but Miss Parker done told I overheard her telling the sheriffs that you and another woman cut her in line, and you guys were the reason that she didn't get in the courtroom, and if it wasn't for you, you guys, that she would have got in. First of all, that's a lie. That's also dangerous, and that's just totally that is like beyond dishonest. Then went on the platform and said, oh, Karmelo Anthony supporters like were cutting the line, and I couldn't get in, and peddling this false narrative, right? And trying to make it seem that way. You know what I mean? That type of stuff I feel like is dangerous, because for me, run the tape. Run the footage. I did not cut a soul. I did attempt to ask Gerald, hey, how are y'all already lined up? A girl who was, I don't know if she was a part of Metcalf's family, but that's what other people were saying, that the group of 15 were his family. And, which I don't, I mean, whatever. But I'm like, child, and the way that also works is each side each family gets 10, I believe 10 seats. So the victim family, Austin, the victim, his family gets 10 guaranteed seats. Karmelo's family also gets 10 guaranteed seats. But outside of the guaranteed seats, the white women that were in line, they were in the public line. So that wasn't the guaranteed family seats. That was the, the public seats, which they're here to support, whatever like that. But if we're going to be honest and say, oh, these people showed up at 5, or tell the truth. Don't try to shape everything as a Karmelo Anthony supporter. My thing is this: if we're going to label ourselves as journalists, tell the truth. It was 15 white women in front of me. They damn for sure wasn't Karmelo Anthony supporters. They were consoling. They were crying in the courtroom. They were consoling the family. They were with the family. And all of them were before me. And they were in the public line, not the family guaranteed pass line. So that's my only thing, is when it comes to certain narratives, I don't like to get it with the whole beefing with bloggers. And, certain bloggers try to make themselves be the story or try to make themselves be the victim because, that's the highest currency these days. Being a victim is the highest currency grift online, period. And even one of her supporters, or maybe, I don't know, maybe if it was, I don't know if it was her on a burner account or one of her supporters, hey, why is it that you won't go into the bathroom with her? Because I won't put myself in that type of situation. I refuse to put myself in that predicament. I already have men who I never did not one thing to them. I don't know them. I did not cover this case before the trial started. That are looking at me up and down, sideways, every which way. And I see them having conversations with her. And then I see them come look at me and look me up and down and try to do this intimidation thing. I already see that play, and I already see the angle, right? This is the angle. And this is for all of my Black people. There was so many of you guys who saw me in line and watch my content and we're in line and we're waving. This is, don't fall into the trap. The trap is talk as much crap online so that we can respond in person to her, and so she can do the victim grift. Anybody at that trial, do not give her that grift. Like, let it just be made up, right? Don't fall into the trap. Like, she had a token Black girl with her that, was looking at me a certain particular way. And I, girl, I'm not saying nothing to you. Just please stay over there and be the token. Okay? Be the token, be over there. Even her. Like, but anyways, enough about that. I just wanted to clear that up. I'm not going to make her a regular topic over here. That's probably the final time that I'm going to address her, but I feel like it was necessary to be said. I will not be entertaining it further. I will not say anything to her in public. I will not be like, you know what I mean? I can't help like if we're lined up or whatever, but I will not say a soul to her. Okay. Period. Not gonna do it. But that's how the morning went. I was lied on, and I was lied on to the sheriffs, which is completely fabricated. Also, here is a video that shows that there were people who were not, and this is my problem with it too, is that I'm coming there to cover the trial like I cover any other trial. When I went to cover the Diddy trial, I was not no Diddy supporter. When I covered the Tory Lanez trial, I damn sure for sure was not on Team Tory, even though I like his music. And I went there like, damn, who's telling the truth? And I was a fan of Tory's music. I was not Team Tory in the trial. I based things off of the facts, right? The thing about this trial is any person that has Black skin is labeled Karmelo Anthony supporter. So if you're covering the trial or you're going up there as an observer, even if you don't know Karmelo Anthony, even if you just there to be a unbiased observer, if you have Black skin, you will be lumped into, you're automatically a Karmelo Anthony supporter. So just be mindful that anything that you do is a reflection of, you know, him, because it's being painted that way, right? So let's let this young man have a fair trial. There's a victim in the case that, you know, we have to find out what the facts are. And he has a family. Austin has his family that's hurting right now. And we don't need to add any more confusion to it. I saw the pain in Austin's family today. They were truly hurting. They were bawling their eyes out when it came to listening to the 911 call, listening to the evidence, hearing some of the facts, hearing the witnesses on the stand. Like, they're hurting. So I would not want to add more confusion on either family side. We need to go in there, listen to the case, stay as far away from Miss Parker as possible. Okay. And be mindful that anything you do, even if I don't know Karmelo Anthony, I don't know his mama, I don't know his family, I ain't never reached out to them for no interview, I ain't never talked to none of the activists that they have, I've never interviewed any of them. You know, even though I don't have any connection to them, I'm labeled as, you know what I mean, a Karmelo Anthony supporter or whatever like that. So anything that you guys do, just know that it's a reflection of them. So be mindful if you're coming up there, that let's just, you know, go up there, follow the rules, be mindful, and observe and see what the facts are. Today there was a lot of facts that came out, and we're going to go over them in this live. So with that long intro being said, and we're going to pay her dust going forward, let's get into what you guys came here for. So we